कनेक्ट किया तो यार ऐसे कनेक्ट किया वो बंद कर दो. Hello, all of you. Can you hear my voice? Hello, all of you. Can you hear me? Let me know if I am audible to all of you. Yes, getting my voice. Okay, so let's start. I'll just give 5 minutes to all of you so that more people can join. I'll just give 5 minutes to all of you so that more people can join. Just inform them, and if other division students also wants to join, you can let them know, and then we will start with the short session on these oral viva and questions and their answers, so that tomorrow you won't be, you won't be in a position to not answer. You should be, you should have some preparation about that. Okay, so I'm giving just 5 minutes and then we will start. I'll be dealing one by one questions which you should be aware of that. And then later on few questions ka answer, like few program ka answer, I'll post through the videos and then you can refer that one. Moreover, the list which I've shared, you can practice from that one, and you will be able to go through the entire experiments and the oral questions. In the experiments, whichever experiments will come to you, you need to perform that, and after that, once the output will come, you need to get it corrected, and after that you need to complete on a sheet, write the code and write the output of the program, and then you can submit that, and after that you will have to give the Viva. So this will be the process. So first thing, you will be given one sheet. Okay, so you will be provided with one sheet. In that sheet, one note will be there. In that note, one aim of the experiment will be there. Okay, so this aim you will have to write on your answer sheet along with your name, your roll number, okay, your division, and all this information you will have to write. Then write the aim. After that you can write the code, and then you can write the output of the program. So this you will do when your program, you will show your program output to the whoever will be there present over there, who will be monitoring. Most probably I'll be there, so just call me, I'll monitor, I'll see that output, and then once it is okay, you can write this. If by chance, if let's say you are getting some error and not able to resolve that, then finally you will have to complete this answer and you will have to submit. In case if you want to change the program, then one time you can change the program if you're not able to do, but then there will be -5. Okay, -5 will be there. So this is what the idea is. Okay, so we can go through the questions one by one which are important. My voice is too low. Just 1 minute. Hello, whether now I am audible properly? Yes, whether now voice is proper? Now whether voice is coming properly, all of you can hear? Yes, okay. Okay, so let's start now. Yeah. So see, the thing is, whichever chapters are there, at least you should know the basic of all those things, because question may be asked on any chapter. So we will start from the first chapter and we will go till the last chapter, and I'll tell you few questions which answer you should be aware of. Okay. So the first thing is, what you should know, what do you mean by keywords? What do you mean by keywords? So keywords in C language is nothing but they are the reserve words. They are the reserve words. Reserve words. What do you mean by reserve words? Reserve words are those words whose meaning is already defined to the compiler. Okay, already defined to the compiler. So their meaning is pre-known to the compiler, defined to the compiler. For example, you write int, float, right? All these meanings are already defined. For loop, switch keyword, okay, all these keywords, if, else. So all these are what? The keywords which are called as the reserve words, which meaning is already told to the compiler. We cannot change its meaning. Its meaning is already defined to the compiler. So these are the keywords. Then there can be question like, what do you mean by identifier? Identifier. So identifiers are nothing but name given to any variable. Okay, name given to any variable, function, okay, array, or any user defined data, or any user defined data, or any user defined data, or any user defined data. So for example, when we create variable int x equal to 10, so this is a variable, but it's also an identifier which identifies certain memory location. For example, what we compiler will do, it will see its integer x equal to 10, so it will allocate 2 bytes of memory. It will allocate 2 bytes of memory, and then let's say here one slot it has allocated. So the name to this particular slot, it will give what? X, and here 10 value will be there. So this X identifies this particular memory location. Let's say the memory location is 400. So 4000 memory location where the value is what? 10. So identifiers are nothing but name given to any variable or function or structure or any user defined data type which identifies certain memory location. Okay, which identifies certain memory location, certain memory location, certain memory location. I am also on the WhatsApp. If anything is there, you can message on the same group. So I am seeing those messages. Okay. Now after this, they can ask you what are data types. What are data types? So see here in C language, data type is divided into three parts. One is primitive data type, primitive. Second is non-primitive. Okay, so let's say primitive and non-primitive. So let's make it two types, primitive and non-primitive. In the primitive data types, you know all the data types like integer, float, character, double. All these are what? Primitive data type. In non-primitive data types, so data types in C language, two types, primitive, non-primitive. In non-primitive data types, you are having what? Your structure, function, okay, and so the user defined data type, your user defined data types, user defined data types, user defined data types are what? Non-primitive data types. Okay, so now in primitive data types you are having integer. So on turbo, so the examiner may ask you what is the size of the integer. So let's say we have the over here type, here we have size, and here we have a range. Okay, a range. Now let me tell you how to calculate this range for few of the data types. So suppose integer is there. Okay, first one is integer. Integer takes 2 bytes of memory. In turbo C, if you'll use some other compiler on 32-bit machine, it may occupy 4 bytes, but on turbo it takes 2 bytes. So if you'll answer with the turbo reference, it's okay. You supposed to know how the memory and the range will be calculated. So integer takes 2 bytes. 1 byte 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Now what happens? Let's say suppose this is the slot. Okay, so here we are having, let's say this is 8 bits, and over here we are having 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. These are the 8 bits, so total 16 bits. Now the last bit, this last bit, this is called as the MSB bit, maximum significant bit, MSB bit. This bit is reserved for sign purpose. That means whether number is plus or minus. So for the sign purpose, if it is set, this will be a negative number. If it is 0, it will be a positive number. So last bit is reserved for the sign purpose. So in this way total number of bits available is what? 15 bits. Okay, 15 bits. So 2 raised to 15, 2 raised to 15 will be the range of this particular integer data type, this particular integer data type. So if we'll calculate this 2 raised to 15, let me open the calc. Okay, so this 2 2 raised to scientific calculate, it's there in this 2 exponential, no, x raised to y, I'll calculate the range. That means 2 raised to 15 to 2 raised to 15 minus 1. So this will be range for this integer data type. This is the range for the integer data type. And so in this way we will have to calculate, okay, in this way we will have to calculate what is the range of the integer data type. Similarly, so for 2 bytes it is, and this integer, when you write integer, this integer is what? It's a signed integer. It's what? Signed integer. So by default its name is what? Signed integer. You can tell it's integer, or if you don't write signed, by default compiler consider it as what? Signed integer. So there is one more data type, there is one more data type, and that is what? That is unsigned int. Unsigned int. Unsigned int also will take 2 bytes. Unsigned int also will take 2 bytes. But for unsigned int, what will happen? There are total 2 bytes. So 2 bytes means what? 16 bits. In 16 bits, last bit will not be reserved for sign because it's unsigned. Because it's unsigned, so last bit will not be reserved for the sign purpose. No, it will not be reserved for the sign purpose. So total bits available is what? 2 raised to 16. So if we'll calculate 2 raised to 16, let's calculate 2 raised to 16. 65536. Okay, 65536. So its range will be 65536, then 0 will come in between up to 65535 for the unsigned int. So unsigned integer ka range is what? Total is what? 65536. So from 0 to 65535. Okay, here sign will not be there. That means minus number will not be there. Its range will be only 0 to 65535. Total was 65536, 2 raised to 16 minus 1. So 0 to 65535. This will be the range. Now let's calculate the character ka range. So character, it takes 1 byte. 1 byte. So 1 byte means total 16 bits. 16 bits means what? This last bit will be reserved for sign purpose. So we'll be having what? 15 bits. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay, 8 bits. So we'll be having total 8 bits. Out of 8 bits, last bit v is reserved for the sign purpose, so only 7 bits will be reserved. 7 bits will be available for what? For the total storage purpose. So 2 raised to 7 is what? 2 raised to 7. All of you can calculate over here. So let me calculate. 2 raised to 7. So it's 128. So 2 raised to 7 is 128. Now it's a signed char. So 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 7 is 128. So 128 to 127. Okay, minus 128 to 127. This will be the range. Similarly, over here for integer, okay, I have not written here minus. So it's minus 32768 to 32767 plus. For integer, minus 32768 to 32767. How we got this? We got by 2 raised to 50. Okay, because last bit is reserved for the sign purpose. Similarly, for unsigned int, we got 0 to 65535. 0 to 65535. And for the character, total 1 byte means what? 8 bits. 8 bits में 1 bit is reserved for sign purpose. So 2 raised to 7 is for the storage purpose, 128. So range will be minus 128 to 127. This will be the range. So sometimes external may tell you to calculate the range and to tell about the range. Then we are also having size modifiers. Few modifiers we have on the data type. Modifiers. What are modifiers? These modifiers, when we apply on the data type, it will get modified. So there are two types of modifiers. One is size and second is sign. In size modifier, we can have long and short. So if you apply short, data will be reduced, data type will be reduced. If you apply long, data type का size will increase. And if we apply signed में one is signed and second is unsigned. So if we write signed, that means it's a signed integer like that, and unsigned, so it will be on the positive side. Okay, so this is what it will change the sign. So two types of modifiers, one is size, second is sign. In size we are having long and short, and in sign we are having signed and unsigned. Okay, this much about the data type. What is data type? Data type is what? When we write like this, see, in x equal to 10. So here this int is what? Your data type. So data type will tell compiler, okay, data type will tell compiler how much space it should be allocated, for this particular variable. So based on this data type only, compiler will come to know that it will have to allocate 2 bytes of memory for storing this x ka value. Okay, this is what the data type will tell the compiler how much space to be allocated. Okay, and it also gives the message that it's an integer number, float number, or character. Now second thing, after this data type, then there can be questions on what are different types of structure looping structure or construct. So basically there are for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So you must see the syntaxes of while, do while, and for loop. For loop ka syntax is what? For loop syntax very simple. We write like this: for keyword, then some variable I equal to 1, I less than equal to, let's say, n, I plus plus, and then we write some statement, let's say printf something, okay, hello. So this is the syntax for loop. Similarly for while loop, we write void, then here while x is less than equal to 10, we want to printf, let's say hello, and then you also need to increment this x plus the x variable, then only this will going to terminate, otherwise it will going to end in the infinite loop. Similarly, for do while, what is the syntax? So do while we write like this: do what you want to do. I want to printf hello, then I'll say x plus plus, okay, then this bracket, and here I will check the condition while x is less than equal to 10. Now remember what is different between while and do while. While over here is what? While over here is what? It's entry control. At the entry only the condition will be checked. If the condition is valid, then only we are allowed to go inside the body of this while loop, and then we can execute, the program will be executed. But in case of do while loop, even if condition is false, but then also it's allowed to execute at least once this entire statement will be executed, even though this condition is not true. And when condition will be checked, condition will be checked at the end. Okay, the condition will be checked at the end. When condition is false, then it will not be executed again, but at least one chance it will get, at least one chance it will get. This is the difference between while and do while. So this is about the looping. Then after that we have decision making statements. So what do you mean by decision making statements? And why use loops? Loops we use for repeating certain types of tasks. So if there is a repetition of the task, let's say 50 times you want to print certain thing, so you will use the loop. So loop for the repetitive task. Okay, if you want to perform certain tasks multiple times, you will use the loops. In decision making statement, in decision making statements we have if. So with the help of if, you can check some condition. If x is less than 5, I want to say what? Printf hi. Okay, so here I am making one decision. I am making one decision. So if statement can make one decision. With the if else, you can make two decisions. So we write like this: if x is less than 5, printf hi, else printf hello. Okay, so for making two decisions, we can use if else. But if there are multiple decisions, we can use if else if ladder case. Okay, ladder case. So for taking multiple decisions, we can use ladder if else, multiple decisions. So similar to this ladder if else, we have switch case. We have switch case. So in switch case also, when we want to perform multiple decisions, we can go for switch case. For example, in switch case, what happens? We check certain value. Let's say what is the value of x. Based on the value of x, we can jump to that particular condition. If x ka value is 1, we can go to case number 1. If x value is 2, we can go to case number 2. If x value is 3, if x value is 3, we can go to case number 3. Like this, we can perform the multiple decision with the switch case. What is the syntax of switch case? Syntax. So we jump on some integer number, switch, let's say on x, where x is integer number, and then we write like this: switch case, let's say 1. Here I'll say printf 1. Okay, and then we write break, to break, otherwise it will fall to below next case. Printf over here 2, and then break. Similarly, last statement we write as what? Default. Here we write printf, whatever your default condition is there, you can write that one, and you can print. And this is the syntax of the switch case. So switch case, it will switch on some integer number. Whatever is the number, it will go to that particular case. This is the idea. and we use the break statement in every cases so that it will not fall to the next cases. Clear? We can have the arrangement in any way. The default can be above, but if default is at the first place, let's say, then you will have to use the break in default also. So this is about the switch case. Then we go to the arrays. So in array, they will ask you, what do you mean by array? What is the definition of the array? So arrays are what? Arrays are what? Collection of similar collection of similar kind of data elements. Similar kind of data elements. What do you mean by this? If I create int x, let's say 5. So here I am creating x array of 5 elements. It will have the space for 5 elements, and all the elements are of type integer. All the elements are of type integer. So in array we cannot store elements of different types, different data types means, okay, type means what? Different data types. So if I am creating float array, float x 10, so this will be array of 10 floating numbers. So arrays are what? Collection of similar kind of data elements. All the elements are what? All the elements are contiguously or continuously stored in the memory, in the contiguous memory location. We say what? Contiguous memory location. Contiguous memory location. So most probably definition will be asked to you. You need to explain like this. How we can what do you mean by contiguous memory location? Let's say if the first number is stored over here, second number will be stored to the next memory location. Third will be over here. Fourth will be over here. So this is called as our contiguous memory location or continuous memory location. If I want to access this particular element, so this first element is what? X of 0. The second element is x of 1. This element is what? X of 2, and this element is what? X of 3. So by using the index number and subscript notation, you can access the array elements, and you can also store the values inside the array. Then what is your two-dimension array? Two-dimension array we declare like this. In, let's say, one matrix I am declaring 3 by 3. So this array is what? It is having rows and columns, so it can store 3 by 3 matrix elements. So most probably for declaring, for doing matrix operations and all, we use two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array. Okay. Then after this, we go to the functions. We go to the functions. So a question can be asked, what do you mean by function? What do you mean by functions? So functions are what? Functions are nothing but block of codes. Okay, block of codes. So block of codes written for performing certain tasks. Okay, for performing certain specific tasks. Okay, for that purpose we write the function. For example, I am writing one program where I need to perform addition, I need to perform subtraction, okay, and multiplication So what I'll do, I'll write one function for addition, another function for, let's say, subtraction, and third function for multiplication. So like this I can have three functions. Now in my program, throughout, whenever I will have to perform the addition ka task, I'll simply call addition function. Okay, whenever I need to perform subtraction task, I will call simply the subtraction function. So in this way, subtraction will do what? In this way, avoid subtraction will avoid the code rewriting. Okay, I don't have to write the same code again and again. I have written once the function, once I have made all these three functions, whenever I will need, I can call those functions. I will not have to rewrite those code again and again. I will not have to rewrite those codes again and again. Okay. So it's like write once, write once, and use it, use it multiple times. Use it multiple times. So this is the biggest advantage of function. This is the biggest advantage of function. You can write code once and use it multiple times. This is also called as what? This is also called as code reusability. Code reusability. Write once, use it multiple times. Second thing was what function gives? We can divide our, let's say there are 1000 lines of code. Okay, so in place of writing everything in void main over here only, all those 1000 lines of code, we can divide that code, we can divide this code into simple modules. Okay, simple smaller modules, right? Simple modules. So for example, let's say this 1000 lines of code I have divided into module 1, module 2, module 3, okay, module 4, and module 5. So first of all, and then what I can do, I can give this module to one group of set of people, this module to implement to another set of people, this third module to another group, fourth module to another group, fifth module to another group, right? Tomorrow if there is any problem in group in module number 3, so this module 1 and module 2, module 4, module 5 people will not going to search error in their module. In fact, module 3 people will going to rectify the errors in the module 3. So this is called as the modular programming. Advantage of this one is what? The bigger code can be divided into smaller code and a simpler code. Second thing, managing code becomes very easy. Managing and debugging of the code. Managing and debugging of the code. Okay, managing and debugging of the code. So if there is any error in module number 3, module 1, 2, 4 and 5 people will not worry. Only module 3 people will going to rectify the errors from these particular modules. So this is the advantage of the modular programming. This is the advantage of the modular programming. So what is a function? Function is nothing but set of code, or you can say a block of code written for performing certain tasks, certain specific tasks. What are the advantage of the function? Code reusability, write once, use it multiple times. Second, it divides larger code into different modules, different simpler modules. So advantage of that one is what? Managing and debugging of the code becomes very easy. Managing and debugging of the codes becomes very easy. I hope till here everything is clear to all of you. Through the comments you can let me know, and also let me know still I am connected and I am audible to all of you. Then we will move ahead. Yes, please comment and let me know. Till here any doubt? If you have any doubt you can ask me. Hello, whether I am audible to all of you. Okay, okay, all of you. So let's move ahead. And after this function, so basically what should be your aim for tomorrow's Viva is what? You should be aware of all the definition and everything. For example, what is function, what are the loop stuff, what are structure, what is array, right? What is keywords, what is identifier, data types. All these answers you should be able to explain. So we have covered this function. In function, there is one more thing. So in function, there is one more thing that is called as what? That is the recursive function. Okay, recursive function. Recursive function. So what is the recursive function? Recursive functions are nothing but a function which calls itself again and again. A function which calls itself again and again are called as a recursive function. So during lectures I had given you lots of examples. You can explain it by like this. Let's say suppose I am writing one code over here, void main, and here I have declared one variable int x equal to 1. Here I am calling this main function. So I am calling main function. Now this, what will happen in this particular program? Before this main, I'll simply print %d x. Okay. After printing this, I'll say x is equal to x plus 1. So I am increasing the value of x. Now what will happen? What will be the output of this program? Output of this program will be like first time it will print 1, second time, so when it will print 1, this main function will call itself again, and again it will print x. So x ka value is incremented by 1. Now this time it will print 2. Again main function is called and it will print 3, 4, so on. It will go in infinite loop. So in recursive function, while writing recursive function program, you should also determine what should be the terminating condition. What should be the terminating condition? Without terminating condition, this program will not going to end. So the same program I can write in this way: int x equal to 1, void printf, sorry, void main. Inside this main, just this is main, main. Here I'll say printf %d x. After this I'll say x is equal to x plus 1, and then below this I'll say x is if x is greater than, let's say, 5, then exit. Okay, exit. If not so, then I'll call the main function. So if you see here I have given this what? Terminating condition. So after reaching this particular terminating condition, my program will terminate. So it will not go in the infinite loop. So for the remembering purpose, what you can remember, the recursive functions are nothing but a functions which calls itself again and again. So for every recursive function, you should have what? One terminating condition. So this is about the recursive function. Then let's go to the structures. So in structures, arrays are what? Arrays are collection of similar type of data elements. Collection of similar type of data element. This is what we have studied. Similar types of data elements. But most of the time in the real life examples, we need this similar kind of data element. For example, if we make try to make any project, real life project. Let's say student management system, students management system, student management system. So this particular system will have what different data types. It will have name of the student, class of the student, roll number of the student, fees of the student, okay, subjects of the student, like this division, like this various data types will be there. So you can see here name will be string, class will be string, roll number will be integer, fees will be float, subject will be, let's say, string, division will be, let's say, character, right? So like this we can have combination of dissimilar data elements, so it is also called a heterogeneous collection, heterogeneous, right? So structures are nothing but collection of dissimilar data elements, collection of dissimilar data elements. Remember this, dissimilar data elements. Now this structure, how to write structure, you should remember the syntax. So in structure we can have collection of float, integer, okay, character, string, any combination of all those data types we can have in the structure. Normally we write structure like this with this struct keyword. Struct, let's say student, we give this bracket, then this closing bracket, and then terminating colon. Here you can write, let's say, int roll number, then you can write char division, right? Then let's say float fees. So if you see in this particular structure, in this particular struct, I am having roll number, integer type, division character type, and fees float type. So collection of three different dissimilar elements. If I want to create a variable of structure, I will have to write like this: struct name of the structure student, let's say S1. So this S1 is the variable of student. If I want to access this, I can access by saying like S1 dot roll number equal to, let's say, 50, S1 dot division equal to, let's say, A division, S1 dot fees, so I can have fees over there. So in this way, by using dot operator, you can access the element of the structure. With the help of struct keyword, you can create the structure. What is structure? Structure is collection of dissimilar data elements. Structure is collection of dissimilar data elements. So this is the structure. The similar to this structure, we also have the union. Union is also collection of dissimilar data elements. So in place of struct we write union and then name of that, so union student. And similar to this one, we also declare in roll number, char division, and then float fees, and here terminating condition. So in place of struct we write union. What is the difference between structure and union? Let's say we have three data types. These three data types, your roll number is integer, it will require 2 bytes. Character is division is character, it will require 1 byte. And this float is fees is float, it will require 4 bytes. So total bytes requirement will be 4 plus 1 5 plus 2 7 bytes. So in structure 7 bytes will be total allocated, and 2 bytes for integer, 1 byte for character, and 4 bytes for float will be separately used for each and every variable. But in case of union, whichever is the largest data type, so over here float, so float requires 4 bytes, so only 4 bytes of memory will be allocated, so at a time, not for the all the variables of memory will be allocated, only 4 bytes of memory will be allocated, which will be the largest data type. And one by one, so for example, I can access first roll number, I can store roll number, then I can retrieve, then I will take character division, I will first store and then I will retrieve. Then I will take fees. So we can operate at a time only one. At a time only one data. But here simultaneously you can operate on all the variables simultaneously. Simultaneously you can operate, right? So in union, memory requirement will be less. In structure, memory requirement will be more. In a structure, we can operate simultaneously on all the data variables. But in case of union, we can operate one member at a time, right? Because memory is common over here. Okay, so for all the data members in union, we will be having this structure 4 bytes, where we say on the same place we have to store integer also, character also, float also. But in case of structure, clear division is there, 2 bytes for integer, 1 byte for character, and this float will have the 4 bytes. So separate storage things are available in structure. So this is about the structure. And if somebody will ask you, what do you mean by nested structure? Nested structure. So nested structure is nothing but a structure, one structure inside another structure. Okay, whenever there is a word nested, for example, nested for loop, nested for loop. So one for loop, inside that another for loop. Okay, that is the nested one. Now let's go to the one topic, that is the pointer. Pointer. What are pointer? What are pointer variables? So normal variables, whenever we create a variable like this, x int x equal to 10, int x equal to 10. Achha, before this pointer, I'll also tell you what do you mean by variable. Okay, many of the people, they are not able to answer this variable also. So let's understand what do you mean by variable. So variables, as the name suggests, it tells that it can vary. Variable means it can vary. So it can vary throughout the program. It can vary throughout the program. Throughout the program. So when we declare like this, int x equal to 5, this is a variable. This is a variable of type what? Integer. So throughout the program, somewhere if I do x is equal to x plus 10, so this variable ka value will get changed to 15, right? So this variable can vary throughout the program. Its name is what? Variable. Variable is used for what? Holding certain values. Used for holding values. Holding values. Okay, values of which type? That depends on the data type. That depends on the data type. This is what the variable. What is different between constant? Constant will have the constant value throughout the program, but variable is what? It can vary throughout the program. This is the variable. Why we use the variable? We create the variables for holding the values of certain data type. Okay, that depends on the type of the variable. Which type of variable you will create, that type of values you will be able to hold. Now let's go to the pointer. Let's go to the pointer. A normal variable, when we create int x equal to 5, this is a variable x which can hold over here 5 value. But let's say what compiler will do, compiler will create one memory. Let's say in the memory it will create one space, and this is the space, let's say 4000 memory location. Here value 5 is there, and the name of this location is what? X. X is identifier which is going to identify this memory location, right? So identifiers are nothing but what? Name of any variable, function, user defined data type, right? So variable is also one of the identifier. One of the identifier. Now here x is having 5 value at memory location 4000. What if I want to store this memory location itself, this memory location? I cannot store this in a normal variable. I cannot store this in a normal variable. So if I want to store the address of any variable, I need to have what? Pointer type variable. Pointer type variable. So what do you mean by pointer variable? Pointers are nothing but special type of variable. Special type of variable. Special type of variable which can hold, special type of variable which can hold memory addresses, which can hold memory addresses. Special type of variable which can hold memory addresses. How? Let me show you. When we will declare this int x is equal to 5, compiler will allocate memory. This 5, name of this memory location is x. Let's say this memory location is 4000. Now I'll create what? Int star p. So this star p is what? I have created a pointer type of variable. This pointer is of which type? Integer type. So wherever this p will be pointing, at that location the value will be of type integer. Now I can say like this: p is equal to ampersand x. P is equal to ampersand x. So this ampersand operator is what? This is address of operator. This is address of operator. And this operator is what? Value at operator. Value at. Address of value at. So what I am saying, p is equal to ampersand x. So I am storing what? Address of x. Address of x is what? 4000. So this 4000 I am storing inside this p variable. Whenever you are storing address of any variable, you should have the special type of variable. You should have what? Special type of variable. And that special type of variable is what? A pointer. You need to create a pointer type variable. How we will create the pointer type variable? Simply by saying int star p. Similarly, if you want to create a character pointer, you can say like this: char star p. Okay, this p you can have any name, but this is the idea how you can create the pointer type variable. Pointer type variable can hold the addresses of some other variable. Addresses of some other variable. This is what the pointer. And then after this is the overall revision of all the chapters and the expected Viva questions from these Viva. In the Viva question may be asked. You should thoroughly prepare this, and don't worry about the Viva. You'll be able to answer all these questions. So even if you are able to answer all these questions, external will be very happy, because external will assume that you have studied properly and you have come prepared in the examination. Okay. So apart from this, if anybody is having any doubt, can let me know. You can also ask me on WhatsApp, or you can comment over here. I'll be able to answer you. And then after that, I'll terminate this, and then a few programs I will make the recording and I will post. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, tomorrow you can come for the oral practical exam. 8:30 is the timing. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yes, any doubt? Anybody is having any doubt? Please ask me. If you don't have any doubt, then we can terminate. I'm ending this stream. All the best for your tomorrow's Viva and practical examination. Do well. Later on, you can just see this video again, and you will get the idea about the questions and answers.